Hey, Greg. I got two questions for you. First off, talk a little bit about what you're seeing from Paintsil in this position and what you're looking for, because we're seeing that he's kind of starting as a 9, but he's in many places and he's doing things in various places.
Yeah, it's. I think he's done a great job adapting to the role. He's played a little bit of it over the years with teams. Again, I don't think with Joe, with the way he runs, and you don't necessarily want him just staying in one place. Let him kind of threaten different channels, different gaps down, behind different defenders, just creating all kinds of issues for guys. As soon as they step out, he's there to run behind. We get balls on the outside, and he's running. We just curl things around like we saw, later in the game. Just he's keeping the opposition's backlines very busy and very, very worried. And and the timing of his runs has been great. We've seen that all year. I think he's involved. He's really involved. He's done a great job of just holding up play at times and linking people in and things like that. So I think, again, when in the last 2 games, we played against a team that presses us, so you get space in behind, which is killer. In this game, we were able to get up in the game, which opens up some space behind. At times I felt like we were rushing attacks and we were really going fast. And when you do that, the game gets separated. So we can also be deadly in separation, but we also give ourselves some stuff to deal with on the defensive side when it gets open like that. So it's a little bit of a catch-22. But he's just brought us, over this last bit with Dayon away and everything, he's brought us just some juice in the position and some stretch, and he's been really involved. And I think with him, Ricky, and Gabe being a little closer together because he's not all the way on the opposite side of the field, we're seeing the 3 of them link up a little bit more than maybe when they're both on the wings. So it's fun to watch, and at times it's nerve-wracking, but it's fun to watch.
Yeah, the nerve-wracking part. Each of the last 2 wins seemed like they should have been simpler than they were.
Yeah, I agree. I think, for the quantity of good chances we created and how, in a way, soft the goals were that we gave up, that's the issue, right? And that's something that just has to be clean. And I'll go back to just saying, okay, in the league, sometimes you can get away with that, but in a knockout tournament, you can't do that, whether it's MLS Cup or Leagues Cup or any of those kinds of things. It's a high risk, type of scenario, and we just have to, again, as we go through the last part of the season, this tournament and final 8 games, it's finding the balance between opening it up and doing the things that we do and what makes us really dangerous, and also managing sort of control of the game, because of, in the knockout tournament, one mistake can knock you out of the whole thing, and so we've got to make sure that we're mindful of that as we keep pushing here down the stretch.
Greg, I know one of your goals you said was to win this game and be in first place for the next 3-4 weeks as you go through. You guys accomplished that. What does that do for you mentally over the next 3-4 weeks? And what do you expect that pays dividends in the next 8 games that you get to play?
Yeah, I think it's good for us just to see rewards for our labor. Getting these points always are going to help you down the stretch. Every point helps you down the stretch. You never know in Leagues Cup too with what can happen with teams. It can be anywhere from 2 to 5, 6 games, and you never know with teams. You don't know what teams are going to do in the window to reinforce. So every point matters, especially during this. Set yourself up. Having the confidence of being in the position that we're in, I think, is always beneficial. So winning before we go on this little stretch is, again, it's beneficial, and so. I think just emotionally it puts us in a good spot, but it also helps me to reinforce some messages maybe that I want to get across this group, because you see that we can be at the top of the table. Now the question is, how do we evolve to become a knockout champion type of team versus a team that, we can win, games during the season, but now what's our evolution in the last part of the season so that we become that threat to lift a trophy at the end?
Hey, Greg, just the production that you're getting from Ricky, Gabriel, and Paintsil, and you look at where they've come from beginning of the season to right now, what are your thoughts on how that trio is sort of working together?
Well, I think a couple of things. One of them is, I think these games, and because of the way the group is running, coming out of Dallas, which was not how we want to play the game, we saw some running in behind. We saw some stretching in terms of our runs and us being more dynamic as a group. And I don't know how many teams can play with us when we've got the game open and dynamic. We don't need it open in both directions all the time, but when Gabe is running and his capacity on one-on-one, his ability in the transition, Ricky's ability to slip through gaps and be on the run and to move and make decisions on the run, Joseph's ability to find a whole nother gear and speed and get himself into good spots as well. Like, I think one is we got moving in the last 2 games. Like, we were moving, and I felt like in Dallas we weren't moving as an example. And so when we get moving, I don't know, like I said, how many teams can really stay with us when we're doing that well. The second part is I think just familiarity amongst them is continuing to grow, I'm seeing a lot more like guys leaving the ball to a guy a little bit early and then continuing and making another run with the anticipation that they're going to get the ball back. It's not give the ball to the guy and let's see what he does. It's they're moving for each other. They're moving after the pass. They're moving before the pass. There's familiarity, I think, that's continuing to grow with each of them, with each other. That also makes them not just individually dangerous, but collectively more dangerous. We're seeing now in a couple games where each of them has a goal. Each of them is involved in an assist with the other one, and they can start to enjoy each other's success and not just their success because they know together they're each going to benefit from that. I just feel like that is growing amongst them. Obviously we had a little break in there because Ricky was out and Joe was out, and now again Joe's up to speed and Gabe has found his form for sure, and Ricky's back flying, and so I just feel like those things are coming together and they're really enjoying playing and taking the game to another speed together.
Hey, Greg, congratulations on the victory tonight.
Thanks.
I wanted to ask you just your thoughts on the final 15 minutes defensively and kind of the impact that your subs had, like Mauricio Cuevas and Emilio Garces.
Yeah, I think guys came in and did the job. Like I said, at times it became a challenge because when we won the ball, we were so fast to go and try to get the next one to separate the game. If that didn't come off, we're a little separated and we're having to manage situations, having to manage some balls. Miro won a couple headers and balls that were played in where he showed that he got out tight on a couple guys where he really just dogged guys in the position and forced them to play back. So a couple great plays for him. He made the one, I think, coming across the face of the goal, which was a huge play. Mowdy, I think, just coming in, fresh legs. Mickey had done a ton of work in the third game this week, just up and down, and Mowdy came in and, again, gave us some fresh legs defending some tough guys out there. And also just gave us some, again, fresh legs in the possession, and he was clean in his possession moments. Miguel came in and he won a header right off the bat on the corner kick, which was huge. We know how we've dealt with corner kicks at times, and he was right there in that zone position, and he got first contact, which was really big. And so again, each guy contributed a lot specifically on the defending side of things, which was important because that's where the game was at that point, right? And it was don't give up anything at that point. If we can get another one, great, which we weren't able to do, but we saw the game out. And I think we managed a few moments in the corners, kind of, sort of, but yeah, we got to keep getting better. Not to say we're bad. Keep getting better at seeing games out, whether staying connected, getting the extra goal, and making sure we're protecting our goal in box. And tonight we did the job at 3-2. I felt like we should have done it a little bit earlier, but at 3-2 we got it done. That's it. All right. Thank you.